Did you know that aside from cancer, eczema is the number one condition that causes the most stress in mothers? I have a research paper to show you today, and I'm going to go through and show you some of the conditions that eczema is a lot more stressful to have compared to other conditions out there. Hopefully, this research paper will give you some light on how much eczema causes stress, especially in mothers. I'm going to share my research paper with you. And I should mention that I am a mom of two kids. One of my kids had eczema as a baby, just very mild. We did a lot of preventative things where his skin is really clear right now. My second one, he started developing eczema. I just started a protocol where I'm actually helping him to help his body heal and recover from the inside out. I feel a lot of the stress, the anxiety. There's been times where I get a lot of PTSD because of what I went through personally. There's times when I have a hard time looking at his skin because of what I went through, and it reminds me of what I went through and how much worse that it could possibly get. And for me to look at it, it causes me stress and worry and a lot of anxiety, which is something I am also working on my end. But I wanted to quickly share that with you. I'm also going to share with you some things that we are going to do to help improve his skin from the inside out, which is what we help a lot of our clients do as well. But when you see it on your own kid, it just really breaks and hurts your heart. And so I understand that. I'm going to share my screen with you. If you are listening to this, I will be sharing this research paper titled Stress in Mothers of Young Children with Eczema. What happened is that the levels of stress in mothers of children less than 6 years old with eczema were compared to those who had other chronic illnesses. You can see that there's a chart here where it shows that they actually compared eczema to other conditions. And I'm going to see if I can zoom in on this, but here you can see that eczema has been compared to other conditions before, and even conditions like diabetes, cystic fibrosis, Rett syndrome, which is a neurological disorder that affects the brain, and deafness and enteral feeding. So this study compared these different conditions, and what it found was that the total stress in this study showed that eczema actually caused more stress than diabetes, than cystic fibrosis, than Rett syndrome, deafness, and enteral feeding, which really says a lot about what's happening in the body, in the family. It shows that eczema not only affects the person, but the whole entire family, especially the mother, very significantly. One of the reasons as well is that a lack of physical support from spouses actually contributed to elevated maternal stress. It definitely affects it, and it says that 27% of mothers had elevated scores for competency and spouse. That affects it as well. Also, for 46% of mothers felt incompetent in terms of when it came to the management of their child's behavior. They also found that parents feel really helpless and experience disciplinary difficulties with their child. I've had clients where they found that their kids always had tantrums, and it was just hard in general to get them to either pay attention to them, listen, or even behave more, which is understandable because they're under a lot of pain and stress themselves. They also mentioned that the other associated conditions like asthma and food allergies can contribute to this stress because they can coexist with eczema. But aside from that, one thing that they also found was that eczema can cause a lot of depression and mental distress. In this study, 24% of mothers had elevated scores for depression. They found that it's definitely affects the quality of life, and it said the quality of life of families with children with eczema is a lot poorer than that of families with healthy children, which is quite expected. And even caring for a child with moderate or severe eczema has a significantly greater impact on family functioning than caring for a child who has insulin-dependent diabetes, which really does show a lot about what is happening. Another reason that eczema can influence and affect the family is because that there's a greater negative impact on family functioning when measured by financial, social, and personal domains. Plus, even a child characteristics can contribute to paternal stress as well. It shows that children with eczema actually have more behavioral problems, more clinginess, fearfulness, and sleep difficulties compared to mothers of children without eczema. And this is from the research paper that I'm reading about. And it also shows that parents often describe their child who has eczema as being distressed, less frequently displaying positive behaviors, naughty and irritable. They can also have difficulty sleeping and they wake a lot during the night. So parents can actually lose up to 1 to 2 hours of sleep each night, which can lead to decreased coping skills at work and home. Mothers of children who have eczema have a greater disruption to sleep and can experience greater anxiety and depression. I just want to share why it's possible that mothers and even parents who are going through this have such a hard time. Hopefully this study goes to help you understand what we as moms go through, and remember that a lot of what we go through also comes with the mom guilt. We find that a lot of times we can blame ourselves and find that it's our fault, but I want to remind you that none of this is your fault. You are doing a great job, and I just have to remind you with that whenever I'm on an eczema breakthrough call with anyone who follows us. One thing that I always share is that you are doing a great job, because you just have to remember that the world and so many people, I feel like, say things or do things that might not necessarily be intentional, but it can really hurt us with the words they say. In terms of, some people might ask things like, are you moisturizing your kid enough? Are you seeing the doctor enough? And I know not everyone experiences those words, but for me, I've had people say that to myself. I've heard that from other clients as well, and it makes them really sensitive. For me, I know that a lot of embarrassment can come with a child who has rashes as well, which is not your fault. That's what some of the statistics have shown from the National Eczema Association website. And so because of that, a lot of us experience that sensitivity. Also, I interviewed a dermatologist who said that when during patient visits with doctors, they can feel bad about themselves for what's happening. Remember that it's not your fault. Start to say good things about yourself, little victories. Remember to celebrate those in your child, especially if you're seeing healing progress, and don't give up. You're doing a great job, and remember not to internalize that guilt, that pain, and remember that it's not your fault. You're doing the best that you can. This is just temporary, and I really believe that if we keep finding hard enough, if we keep searching hard enough, we are going to find the right practitioner, the right tools to help you get better and heal, and help your child get better and heal. Don't stop believing that. Don't give up. Hopefully the other resources in this podcast can help you, and my free resources. I have lots of free resources for you on my website, especially an ebook called 6 Ways to Clear Eczema Naturally, and a free training on the 3 biggest mistakes that you can be making that's stopping your skin from healing. Hopefully that information can help, and I hope you have a great day.